Welcome to Webster Now with your host, Garrett Wagner.
Webster, school starting soon. I know. I don't know about you, but I've got homework on the brain. At the last town board meeting, I couldn't help feeling like I was watching some age-old classroom dynamic play out right there in town hall. Some were prepared, some showing up without the assignment done. So let's break down where the syllabus stands today. A long, detailed, crafted, beautiful email landed in the town board's inbox from former town supervisor Tom Flaherty. Nobody asked for it, he just sent it. The board took up a resolution to record a lot more of what happens in town meetings, and getting it passed took a live, on-the-spot rewrite right there at the table. Then there's a document the board voted on that turned out to be 24 years-ish old. The board asked for the updated agreement ahead of time, but it never came. A developer tried to get excused from Webster's building moratorium. To do that, the law says you have to prove the pause is costing you dollars and cents. And you get to hear how that went. And last but not least, favorite part, recess. Because the Mud Run, baby, it's back. We've got footage from last year to prove how messy it got and how much fun it is. Now, just a quick reminder, everything here today is my perspective only. Nothing said reflects official town policy or action. So let's get into it. A little while back, the whole town board got an email from Tom Flaherty, Webster's former town supervisor. It was about the Bolter Road extension project. Forget the road, though. It doesn't really matter for our purposes here. What matters is this came from out of the blue. It wasn't asked for. It wasn't a reply or an answer to a question. There was no meeting where somebody said, "Hey, Tom, can you write this up?" He just sat down and sent the board a long, detailed, beautifully crafted as always, breakdown of the project out of nowhere. If you follow the show, you know Tom has never made an email he could keep short. Literally a masterpiece. But the reason I bring up this email is because there's one line in it, and I'm going to read you exactly what he wrote, because it's important. Quote, "Throughout this period, however, I kept the town board informed through board meetings, workshop discussions, and my weekly updates." Now, I'm not going to sit here and fact check whether he pulled off every single time. That's his version in his words. What I can't stop thinking about is the reflex underneath it. That keeping the board informed is just something a supervisor does, a natural instinct, if you will. Not just when it's convenient, not when someone forces the issue, just as a matter of course. And let's be direct, this isn't a party thing. There's no Republican or Democratic way to loop people in you work with. It's a choice about how you run a place, how much you tell people, how far ahead of the vote you tell them. It's why we often say at the town level, it's about the people in the roles, not the party. And I bring it up because once that question's in your head, did everybody have what they needed before they had to decide? The rest of the August 6th meeting basically grades itself. Because some of it grades fine, some of it not so much. So we'll start there with a policy I actually think is good news and that somehow still turned into a scramble. The board took up a policy to record a lot more of what happens in town government. Right now, not every meeting gets recorded. Under this starting September 1st, a whole bunch more of them will. Video, audio, posted on YouTube, so you can actually see if you want what your local officials are doing and saying. If you care about transparency, and I know a lot of you do, this is the direction we want things going in. So straight A's on the idea. It's the execution where some points may have been deducted, shall we say. Here's what happened. The resolution comes up, and the wording of it is supposed to spell out the town's policy. Except the language that was written was vague. It said something like year-round advisory boards. The town attorney flags it. Basically, this isn't correct legal wording, can't be used. And so the board just figures it out right there at the table live. They start working out which bodies to list, town board, planning board, zoning board appeals, a couple others, hammering out the wording of a public resolution in real time, with the attorney walking them through it.
I think the slogan should be Pawnee, home of crackers, the orangest goldfish in Indiana.
Okie dokie.
No.
Let me write it down.
Now, they got there, it passed, the policy's real, and I don't want to undersell a good outcome, but this isn't supposed to be a pop quiz. This was a scheduled agenda item. Everybody knew it was coming, yet it showed up underprepared. Some were ready, some not. Now, this next assignment, if you will. I want to be careful about how I say this because the outcome was completely fine. No harm was done. But how we got there, something messy. Here's some quick background so this makes more sense. Webster has been part of a federal program since 2002, where money flows from the feds to the county to help lower income families in town. It's a good program. Over the years, it's brought money into Webster projects. Every so often, the agreement gets renewed. And this is one of those renewals. Pretty routine. The kind of thing that should take 90 seconds, right? Quick and easy. The board needs to vote to authorize it. Simple enough. Except the document the board was actually holding, the agreement everyone was looking at to vote on, was the one from 2002, the original. Not the current version with the updated terms, the 2002 edition. So the town attorney is reviewing the correct document, the one-page amendment that actually mattered minutes before the meeting started. Not weeks before, not the morning, minutes before. So we could tell the board he was okay with it because he got it minutes before the meeting as well. This also means that if the board didn't have the right document, neither did the public. Anybody wanted to follow along and read things, they couldn't because the version out there was 24 years old, is out of date. Now it passed unanimously, and like I said, no harm was done. The terms that turned out to be minor anyways, so this isn't some sort of scandal. But now that's 2 agenda items in one night that showed up not ready to go. A rewrite on one, the wrong document on the other. And if you're like me, you kind of start to notice a pattern. And that pattern over months, the boards had items come up for a vote where materials arrived the day of the meeting, where documents couldn't be located, and how the wrong agreement was provided to the board. And that's not a promising pattern in any school or work situation. All right, so this next one, the board wasn't the one being graded. You remember Webster's got a building moratorium going on right now. We've covered it in the past. It's basically on a pause of certain kinds of elements while the town finishes its long-term comprehensive plan. But there is a way to request getting out of it early. Think of it like asking the teacher for an extension. You can ask, but you can't just say, this is hard, I need more time. You've got to bring in real document reasons. In this case, the requirement is proof that the moratorium is generally costing you. The law here is strict about that. Clear and convincing evidence in actual dollars and cents that the development pause is doing you a kind of harm that's unfair to make you sit there. So a developer, a pickleball court, comes to the board asking for that exemption, essentially saying, please, let me out early. And that's when the board began to ask questions to see if they met the requirements. Do they own the property? Not yet. There was financing that supposedly ran out, so they were asked if it can be extended, and it can. Those delays, they're calling harm. When those things happen, a chunk of them before the moratorium even existed. And the big one, the dollar figure the law actually requires, the documented cost, didn't show up. Ultimately, the board voted no unanimously. The project's gonna have to wait. Now, even though we might not jump for joy over pop quizzes, homework assignments, and exemptions, there's one thing we can always look forward to. Recess, right? Come on now. For this round of upcoming fun in Webster, the Mud Run is back. And if you've never been, it's exactly what it sounds like. You, your kids, just yourself, obstacle course, mud, which they create, and a truly unreasonable amount of it. It's one of my favorite mornings of the year. I've done it many years now, and I'm always excited to go and have some fun. So check out some footage to get yourself ready for this year. All right, mark those calendars. Saturday, September 19th at the Webster Rec Center from 10 to 11:30 a.m. $5. You can sign up using the link below. Everybody, You're welcome. Bring the whole crew. It's a great time. So that's what was on the syllabus this week. One unprompted email that got me thinking about how we stay prepared. Some might call it overachieving. Others might say that's just what it means to be a good student. We also took a look at transparency policy. They got written in specifics at the last second. A document 2 decades past its expiration date, and a developer who asked for an exemption without following the rubric. And look, preparation is not about who's a Republican and who's a Democrat. Being ready for a meeting, having the right paperwork in front of you, doing the reading before you vote, it's about the people doing the work. Some nights it gets done, some nights it doesn't. And the whole point of a show like this is you get to see what's following the rubric and where we're losing points and where we're picking up points. I'm going to keep showing up, taking notes, and I'll keep bringing you what I see, what's going on in our town. So thank you as always for spending a little time on what's happening around Webster. If you found this information useful, please consider liking, following, and sharing it with a fellow resident to keep the rest of Webster informed. As always, every step we take is a step towards a better Webster.
You've been watching Webster Now with Garrett Wagner. Join us next time for more local news and updates.